Hey folks, Dr. Mosier here, and welcome back to Back in Line. So a couple weeks ago, Ellen and I, we bought a cow and a pig. We went to the livestock auction with the 4-H, and we were invited, and it was a good time. And I'm a little competitive when it comes to auctions, and when it comes to food, I am even more passionate and excited about an auction. And so we ended up buying a cow, buying a pig, and it was exciting, it was fun, and it was a great honor to help these kids offset some of the costs that they had with feeding the animal, caring for the animal for an entire year in some aspects, an entire year of caring for this animal. Well, now they get to auction off that animal and start back all over with a new cow or a new pig or a new goat or a lamb or whatever that animal, that child likes to show at the fair. So we ended up having the meat process because we eat meat. I don't raise cattle. I live in the suburbs, so I have no room for a cow or a pig. However, my freezers do. So we ended up going to a local processing place, Lindell's, and they processed our meat and they did a phenomenal job. But when we went there, we kind of forgot that we bought a 1,500 pound cow and a 300 pound pig. So we load up in Ellen's SUV and we go out there and we're like, okay, we're gonna pick up the cow, we're gonna pick up the pig, here we go. So the kid at the counter who we gave the check to for the processing fee, and then he came out with bag after bag after bag of meat. And we got a lot of steak, but we also there was 5 of these bags full of these 1-pounder beef sticks. And so tons and tons of meat. You should have seen Ellen's eyes. As me and that kid were loading the back of her SUV up, the weight of her SUV just kept going down and down and down. And so she's like looking up frantically, can my SUV withstand the weight of this? So needless to say, we slowly drove all the way back home and we started unloading this meat into our freezers, right? I have a large freezer, and then my parents have a freezer, so we were gonna store some up over there and let them have some. Well, we quickly found out we did not have enough freezer space, so we had to run over to Walmart, buy another freezer to load up. And so lessons learned, you need a lot of freezers, and you need to check your freezers too. That's my advice that was given to me by many others. Now, speaking of advice, when I first came into town, me and Ellen did, we were advised, don't say anything bad about anybody, because you don't know who's related to who or who's connected to who. And I thought that was an interesting advice, because I was like, well, I wasn't planning on saying anything bad about anybody. I mean, that's just kind of rude. However, gossip gets around and it kind of stabs people in the back, and it hurts people, right? And unfortunately, bad news travels fast. That's how our news does its thing. So anyway, I want to propose a concept to you guys: good gossip. So when you give somebody a life-giving, specific compliment, it's drastically different than that of a flattery compliment. And so a flattery compliment is, oh, your hair looks good, or oh, I like that shirt, or something superficial. But when you get specific and you compliment someone on how they handled a situation at work, or how they remain calm in a situation, or I'm drawing a blank on an idea, but something specific, something when you have to think of a true compliment for that individual. And so that goes so much further than flattery, right? And so now, moving forward to this good gossip concept is, okay, what if you said something nice about someone else with a friend or a coworker? Well, eventually that good gossip is going to reach that individual, and it's going to feel good. It's kind of the same way as like Google reviews or Yelp reviews for a business. You know, you're indirectly, you're not talking to the business, but you're reviewing them, right? Or, I mentioned Lindell's, for example. They did a great job. We got a ton of meat, and they really responded quickly. They got the cow, they got the pig, and they got right to it, right? And that was great service. Well, if you continue to be that encourager, not for businesses or just for businesses, but for everybody, you become known as the encourager, someone that people want to be around, and they enjoy being around you. So I hope this was helpful. If you like it, obviously like, comment, share, do all those things. But I look forward to seeing you next time on Back in Line.